Yeah? Okay. Well, my name is Audra Dawes Knowles, and I am the founder of Audra's Brooches, which is a vintage jewelry business specializing in pins and brooches from 1880 to 1980, so 100 years of brooches. And this is my main selling area, this market at King's Cross, Canopy Market. And I've been trading here since 2018. So I started when the market became a weekly market. It went from a monthly market, and it was a bit more of a farmer's market then. And it became more of a design craft market with food and grocery provisions in 2018. And that's when I started coming full time. So I'm here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so interestingly, I moved to London in 1992, so that was 30 years ago, this autumn. I was a child, I wasn't, but, and so I lived in Finsbury Park and in Angel and Islington, N1, and coming from Canada, Angel and N1, even though I was in a very fancy neighborhood, for me as a Canadian seemed really scary because of all the shutters on the shops and things, because I'm from Ottawa, which is the capital, it's just very mild. So I arrived in London in 1992, which meant that, and living in, I said, Islington, Finsbury Park, Manor House, Seven Sisters, mostly North London. And my experience of King's Cross is that the station was really, really scary and horrible. And it was also very, the biggest change for me is that there's no cars and that it's pedestrianized. So the whole station area was really, really busy. It was hard to cross the road. And there was lots of people that were really struggling with homelessness and drugs and et cetera, et cetera. It wasn't somewhere that you waited around. I had a friend who lived on York Way. She was from New York City. She was a boss. And she was like, take the bus. So I used to take the bus 3 stops to her house on York Way. And the only other bit I remember about King's Cross, because obviously it was industrial, so I was like a temporary secretary. I wasn't really going around here. But there was the nightclub, Bagley's, and there was something called the Church, which I think was around here. And that was like an Australian, basically so you could drink on Sundays. So it was like a private club that you joined every Sunday after partying all day Saturday. And then they had events and things like that. But again, it was quite scrappy. And I think that went from 11 till 7 p.m. because that's when pubs opened again. And then it would close and everyone would sort of filter away. But yeah, the change in my lifetime, even in all over London, is quite astounding. But one of the things here I noticed, because I've been working here and watching it, from when Cold Drops didn't have any shops, but the Guardian moved in and all the other different businesses. So more people coming to the market who are professionals, things like that. And I thought it was really interesting, all the things I did locally for the community. So that was quite nice. And I like all the museums and things. I mean, when we came to London, our child was 7, and we used to go to the little nature park, which I think is still there, and go pond dipping and stuff. So even when we came back to London in 2007, this area was starting to become nice. It wasn't scary to get off the tube at King's Cross and take a child to a nature reserve and walk along, the canal and stuff. I mean, we just didn't walk on the canal you didn't. And when I used to meet, so I used to meet my friend Jenny to go and stay at her mom's, and we would get a train from King's Cross, so we'd meet after work on a Friday. We always met, we didn't have phones, we didn't even have pagers then, but we always met in W.H. Smith. So we didn't wait in the station. We didn't wait outside the station. We didn't wait in the tube, anywhere. We waited in a shop. And it would be I'll meet you in the shop. And you kind of pretended you were going to buy something and hope your friend would arrive. So, yeah, it was really scary.
So overall, you identify this as a positive change to King's Cross?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting development because this isn't a development that, it's not slum clearances. Angel Tube, they cleared people out and was bye, see you later. This was industrial land, and, I know the knowledge I have of how, the funding for it, but I think that the sympathetic keeping of the listed buildings and things has value and adds value. I know that they had an apprentice scheme for people to learn how to do construction. They have free things for families, and for the local folk that live around here. And I know that they were included in the development. Not to say that they got what they wanted, or because I know people talk about the buildings being too high and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I'm a really weird person because my friends work for Google. So it's like, and then my friend did the eco stuff for the garden that they're going to put on top of that building. So I know a lot and a little, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of an outlier. But yeah, it's much nicer. I don't know if I'd still want to walk around here at 1 a.m. all by myself, but really, just because there wouldn't, once Waitrose shuts and the university shut, the whole thing with London is anywhere there's lots of humans, you feel really safe and fine because there's other people. So if you live here and you have your apartments and you know all the students and everything, but I suppose at nighttime it would still be quite isolated. I hope that's helpful.
That's very helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I said positive things. I mean, there's a lot of criticism, but it's kind of gives you something. Yeah, like I think that's kind of how I feel. It was a wasteland, a lot of it, so.